Hello? Is too much of sitting or prolonged sitting harmful? Yes, it is. Studies from Canada, Australia, America showed long ago that if you sit long hours, which is usually more than 8 hours, for 10 hours, 12 hours, your chances of premature death, getting a chronic disease, is almost 10 to 20% more. An interesting study was done way back in 1953 in London bus drivers. Compared to the bus drivers, bus conductors had lesser heart disease, lesser stroke, lesser diabetes than the drivers. It's also understood that people who watch television for 3 to 4 hours a day had 64% increased chance of heart disease compared to those who watch television only 1 to 1.5 hours a day. And especially if while watching television for long hours, you are having a dinner or a drink with fatty like chips or any other such food material, you tend to become obese and tend to put on weight earlier because you are couching in your sofa. Your back pain, your neck pain, and low back pain, leg pains also worsen. One study also showed that people who sit longer hours watching television or leisure time have more harmful effects than those who are working longer hours in the office. This is quite surprising. This is because when you are working in an office, you tend to get up and move around for tea, coffee. While watching television, especially if it is a tense scene, you never move a little finger also while watching the television. Now let us look at some of the ill effects of sitting for a longer time. When you sit for longer time, your metabolism comes down by almost 90% within first hour of sitting. Apart from increasing weight, causing obesity, you tend to get weakness of the muscles, especially lower limb muscles and also some gluteal muscles or hip muscles. That's why it is called as dead butt syndrome. Because you sit for a longer time, you find it get up quickly and walk quickly, or rather run quickly. So this sort of problems do increase. There is also increased prevalence of heart disease in those who sit more than 8 hours. You also get some clots in the veins in the legs because your legs are static. That's called as DVT, or deep vein thrombosis. You also get varicose veins on the limbs. And bit of a bad news is if you sit for many years and years for long hours in office or wherever, your risk of memory failure, dementia, Alzheimer's also worsens. Risk of cancer also increases a bit, and anxiety, depression is also pretty common in people who work sort of only on the desk sitting for longer hours. And it is also worth noting that a good cholesterol, an HDL, drops by almost 20% when you sit more than 2 hours. So what do we do? You have got to work in the office, you have got to sit 10 hours a day on the desk. So what do you do? Yes, what you could do is probably take some sort of breaks in between. Every 30-40 minutes, you take a break. If you just stand up where you are working, stretch yourself, or start moving your legs up and down, or just raise the heel and do some the calf muscle movements. And if you want to talk to your colleague, don't try to do WhatsApp, although he's just in the corner. Go there and talk to him. And if you drink more water, you tend to visit more of the bathroom. And when you've got a tea break, don't sit and drink the tea. Stand up and drink the tea. And in the evening, when you come back home, Make certain you don't have a cup of tea or coffee and go on to the sofa to watch 3 hours of serial. Instead of that, do some gardening, play with your children, or you could in fact walk up and down the stairs for a few times. Even in the office, you don't need to use the elevator. If it is up to 3 floors, I feel you should be able to walk up the stairs. So, all in all, if you exercise around 40 to 60 minutes 5 days a week, some part of the harmful effects of long sitting can be removed. But frequent breaks when you are sitting is the only way. In fact, one of the American physicians said prolonged sitting is equal to smoking. That became very famous in the media, on the internet, on YouTube for quite a length of time. But now we know smoking has many harmful effects than prolonged sitting. But nevertheless, take care. Prolonged sitting, you have got to be very careful. But then, what about standing only desk working? You go to the office, you don't sit, but you stand and work. Ask your boss if he can give you such a provision. Or if you are the boss, see if your employees can stand up and work at least for some hours. Take care. Thank you.